guys, welcome back to my channel. It feels like ages since I've just sat down and did a makeup video and I'm so excited. Today I want to talk about how I've changed my makeup coming into my 30s. So I'm in my 30s, I'm 33. I have definitely made some subtle changes to my makeup and little bits and pieces that I do throughout my makeup routine as I've gotten that little bit older to kind of try and counteract the process of aging, and I wanted to share them with you. So if you're interested in that, then just please keep watching. Now, I've always been pretty good at my skincare, but since I've come into my 30s and certainly in the last 12 months, I am a huge fan of double cleansing, and I've just noticed such a huge difference in my skin since I've started to double cleanse. You've heard me talk about this like a million times, you're probably sick of me talking about it, but I absolutely love the No. 7 Radiant Results Nourishing Cleansing Balm. I use that when I'm wearing makeup, and then I use that in conjunction with another cleanser. Like I've said to you before, you pop it onto your dry skin, it pretty much melts your makeup away. I'll then get a cloth, take off my makeup, and I'll go in then with maybe another cleanser, like one of my Elemis ones. This is the Rehydrating Rose Petal Cleanser and I love it, it smells amazing. I'll go in with this and some maybe of my cellulose sponges or something like that to double cleanse my face. I've just really kind of honed in on my skincare, and that has really helped me have my makeup look on the way that I want it to look. So secondly, I have, and you know, a lot of my makeup tips, and I've said this before, is down to my sister. My sister is like the brains behind almost everything that I do when it comes to makeup. She's always been really out there when it comes to trying new things. I'm a little bit more reserved, and I get all my tips from her. Like, she's absolutely fantastic. One of the things that she said to me recently, that she stopped using primer, and I was really intrigued by that. I was like, oh, because I was like a huge primer user. And then when I started looking at primer and being like, does it make a difference? I don't know. And I stopped using it, and it, for me, does not make a difference to my makeup. So I've stopped using primer. To be honest, it's probably just saved me money. I don't think it's actually done anything bad or good to my routine. I just think that I'm not putting as much chemicals on my face. Simple as. One of my new favorite foundations. You know, I'm always trying new foundations, and again, this came from my sister. She recommended this to me ages ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it, and I tried it and I absolutely love it. It's the Catrice HD Liquid Foundation. One of the techniques that I've changed going from my 20s into my 30s is that I no longer use makeup brushes to apply, like foundation brushes to apply my foundation. I apply my foundation and my concealer with my beauty blender. I just found as I've gotten older, obviously we have fine lines and we have, you know, dark circles where we probably haven't had them before and whatnot. I just find that the beauty blender for me is the best application method for my foundation. It's what gives me a really nice flawless look. So I'm gonna go and apply some of this. I've no tan on me today, so this is just going to be one of my everyday looks. The next thing that I have kind of changed or stopped doing, or I don't know, is concealer. So what I've stopped doing, now you will see me doing it in some of my other videos, and I do need to make it clear that for some videos that I'm doing like really crazy dramatic looks, I will use techniques that I'm probably going to tell you here that I don't use anymore. The look I'm talking about here is for an everyday makeup look. Something that I'm just going to wear to work, that like today I'm going to wear into town. What I have stopped doing on my everyday makeup look is the triangle under my eye. And that is simply because my under eyes are starting to crease. Again, I'm using a Catrice product, and this is the Liquid Camouflage Concealer. So with my concealer, I'm just doing a couple of dots under my eye. I'm not doing the full swipe of like crazy concealer for my everyday look. Oh, it's looking cool. And again, I'm going back in with my beauty blender and I'm going to blend that all in. I'm really tired today actually. I had a really good sleep, but I'm really tired today, so you know, it's probably a really good day to do this makeup technique because I have bags, I have fine lines, I have black circles. The aging process is in full swing, people. Okay, so the next thing I do, and I suppose this kind of depends on how I'm fixed for time, I let my foundation kind of set into my skin before I powder it down, just so I can kind of gauge how much powder it needs, so I don't end up like it's dewy now because it's still wet, it hasn't set into my skin yet. So so I can figure out how much powder I actually need and I'm not like throwing a load of powder onto my face. So while I'm waiting for my foundation to just melt or whatever it needs to do, I'm popping onto my brows. My brow routine is changing pretty much on the daily, like genuinely, it changes every single day. It kind of depends. I've talked to you before about my brows and how they drive me crazy and how they just sit differently. So really nothing much has changed in my brow technique. I guess what I've started to do more in my 30s is to concentrate on really having a light amount of colour at the front of my brows. So just here, having really light. So what I'm going to do is going to go off camera, do my brows, because you've seen me do them before and it's nothing special. I have a video on how I tint my brows and I'll link it up here if you want to have a little look at it. And that's kind of how I can quickly get the shape of my brows during the week when I am in a bit of a rush. Alright, so I'm just finished doing my brows. So really I just pop the product on the end and then I come back with the spoolie end of my little brush and I just brush through the front bits. And I kind of pull them, almost like pull them into the center of my face. So I try to feather it as much as I can to just make it look a little bit more natural. They're not natural, they're drawn on brows. We can all see that, but you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So coming back on then to powder my face. I have always loved and will always love the Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and lately I'm back to using my powder puff, and it's really because I can kind of control it a lot better. So I'm literally just dabbing a little bit in and then I'm having a look at my face, and anywhere I kind of know that my foundation is prone to breaking down, that's where I will powder. So usually up around where I've put my concealer, down around my laugh lines and my chin and my nose, my forehead as well. So we are looking a little bit one-dimensional, but that'll all change when we bring in the highlighter later. So I've pretty much primed my eyelids already with my foundation and my concealer, as you will have seen. I'm then just going to pop into like a really nice kind of brown, like warm toned brown colour. So I think I'm probably veering more towards warm tone browns as opposed to cool tone browns. People who are not into makeup, well, number one, you probably won't be watching this, but number two, won't know the difference between a warm tone and a cool tone brown. So with my colouring and my skin tone, cool tone browns always look really harsh and just non-natural on me. Warm tone browns is just what I'm about. So I'm popping into my Revolution palette first, and I'm just going to take one of my fluffy brushes and pop into this colour up here, just to kind of start us off as a kind of a transition shade, but it has a little tiny bit of shimmer in it. So my trick, as I've come into my 30s, I abandoned shimmer there for definitely the last probably 3 years of my 20s, and now I'm starting to use it again because I'm just finding that it gives a little bit of a lift to your everyday eye look. Now I don't mean to say that I go to work like a glitter ball, because I don't, but I do like to introduce a little bit more shimmer to brighten up the eye. I just find that it creates a little bit more dimension to the eye and it just makes your eyes look more interesting. That's not a very makeup-y term, but you know, whatever. I'm going to then go into my Urban Bible palette and I'm going to go with a different brush, and I'm going to take Saviour, which I love, this one here, and I'm just placing that down onto my lid and working it into the crease. The usual, you know? So then I'm taking one of my favourite brushes, my Inkblot 6SS, and I'm going to just pop a little bit more of that Saviour colour into my crease, and that will work to blend our initial transition colour and the colour we just popped onto our lid, which is the Saviour colour also. So you'll see that's just a really nice warm tone browny kind of colour. Lovely for every day, but what I want to do now is just to pop on the tiniest bit of shimmer onto our eyeball. I'm going to use this one down here. Now it looks quite light, but once you kind of pop it down, it's just beautiful. So probably something that I've only really started doing in the last maybe 6 months or so is lining my waterline and tightlining my upper lash line with a brown eye pencil as opposed to something dark or grey or really black. and this one here I absolutely love it. It's called Hot Chocolate from Essence. So I'm just finding that using a dark brown eyeliner as opposed to either nothing or quite a dark eyeliner is just a lot softer on my eyes. It's my preference these days anyway, so that's what I'm going to use today. Okay, so that is our brown eyeliner in our waterlines. One thing that hasn't changed is my love for liquid eyeliner, black liquid eyeliner. That's probably never going to change, so sorry. And of course, you know, my absolute favorite is the Essence liquid ink eyeliner. It is bulletproof. It is amazing and so easy to use. I always say this, that if you're somebody that struggles with liquid eyeliner, you just need to get this because it practically glides onto your eye by itself. I'm probably going to make a big mistake now. Do you know what's actually really funny? You see this little technique where I hold my eyeliner in between my pinky finger and my other finger? I learned that in chemistry in 5th year in school. My teacher was like, yeah, so you hold your test tube like here? And I was like, oh, cool. And then I just started doing it with makeup, and I've been doing it all along. It's just like, it's hilarious. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like from Mr. Craigie in school. Random fact. The next thing that I have found as I have started to age is that my eyelashes have started to kind of straighten out. So I'm quite lucky. I have quite naturally long eyelashes, but they used to be a lot curlier than they actually are, and I don't know if that's an age thing. My hair has kind of gone the same as well. So what I have started to do is going back to using my eyelash curler, which is kind of mad. Like you always look at it and you're like, oh, that's like such a 90s thing, but it's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant. The only good thing about your eyelashes starting to droop a little bit, I find, is that I can actually put on my false lashes a lot easier because my own eyelashes aren't getting in the way. So, you know, silver linings and all that. Years ago, when I used to curl my eyelashes with an eyelash curler, I used to get a hairdryer and heat this little plastic piece here. FYI, be really careful because I burnt my eyelid lots of times doing that. So today I'm using my Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara. This is absolutely brilliant. I do find though that it does flake a little bit, so I tend to team it up with a non-smudge mascara, which is normally my Bad Gal Bang mascara from Benefit. So that's what I'm going to do. Like, look at the difference. Isn't it crazy? The last thing, oh my god, I need to share this with you. Again, this comes from my sister Hazel, who is just a genius at finding these little treasures. My new favorite product is the Revolution Highlight. Oh my god, like where has this been all of my life? I find that this has done so much for me the last couple of weeks, and people have commented on how well my skin looks when I have this on me. Like, it's amazing. It's so, so good. And I find that it brightens up my skin. It just makes me look younger, which we all want. Come on, we all want it. So I'm popping some of this on. I'm using this on my Real Techniques setting brush. It's just a small little setting brush, but I find it's perfect. What I love about this particular product is that it's not kind of boom in your face, you know, so you kind of don't notice it, and then like you turn and you're like, highlight! Oh, I love it so much. I'm gonna pop on the slightest bit of bronzer. So my butter bronzer is my all-time favorite, just to give myself a little bit of color, ever so slightly, and just to get that smell of the butter bronzer. If you have it, you know. My last thing, and again it comes back to bringing back shine and light to your face to, I suppose, counteract the aging process. I have gone back to using lip glosses, and you know my all-time favorite lip gloss is the NYX Lingerie lip gloss in Honeymoon, and I'm going to pop a little bit of that onto my lips as well. I love my lipsticks, my matte MAC lipsticks, but if you want to look a little bit fresher, a little bit more like boom, I'm here, then a lip gloss just goes such a long way, and I love this particular one. So that's kind of it, guys. We've covered skincare. You know now that like I don't use primer anymore. I use my beauty blender instead of my brush. I just have changed how I use my concealer. I go in for a light powder in my everyday looks as opposed to baking. I add a little bit of shimmer to my eyeshadow. I now line my eyes with a dark brown colour as opposed to a black colour. What else? I curl my lashes now, and I also use my little bit of highlight and gloss just to boost my look and to change it up and to kind of counteract the aging process somewhat. Aging, we should all definitely be happy that we're aging because it means we're here and it means we're healthy and we're able to age, and that's a fantastic thing. But I think when it comes to makeup, we have so much at our disposal for changing our looks that, you know, why not just change it up a little bit and make things a little bit more interesting. Makeup is all about confidence and it's all about doing things that you love. So I think that if you feel like, oh, I have like lines here or I'm not too happy with my look, you can change it. That's the beauty of makeup. I really hope that you liked this video. If you do, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would really love you to subscribe and just join my family here on YouTube because it's a passion of mine. I am loving it so much. So that is it for today. Hope you have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video. See ya!